All around us, on every single surface. And yet, even inside our own bodies, there's an invisible battle raging, every second of every day. It's this epic conflict on a microscopic scale. So let's zoom way, way in and meet the two main players.
To really get a handle on this, we've got to start with a question that seems simple, but it's actually not. What's smaller than a germ? The answer is going to take us on a pretty wild journey deep, deep into the microscopic world.
All right, first up, let's talk about the things we usually just call germs. We are, of course, talking about bacteria. Think of them as our tiny, constant neighbors, and they've been on this planet a lot longer than we have.
So what are they, really? Well, bacteria are single-celled organisms. And when I say they're everywhere, I mean everywhere, from the bottom of the ocean to the top of a mountain. They're tiny, yeah, just a few micrometers long, but you can actually spot them with a standard light microscope. And here's the thing you have to remember. They are not all bad guys. So many are actually super helpful, like the ones in our gut helping us digest food. Of course, others can make us pretty sick.
Okay, so you think bacteria are small? Get ready to have your mind blown. We're about to shrink down even more and enter the seriously strange and mysterious world of the virus.
Just let that sink in for a second. Viruses aren't just a little smaller than bacteria. They are thousands of times smaller. That's like comparing a single person to a massive skyscraper. This huge difference in scale, well, it's the key to understanding everything about them. Okay, check this out. It really breaks down the key differences. A bacterium, it's a true living organism. A virus, on the other hand, it's kind of on the edge of life. It can't really do anything by itself. We measure bacteria in micrometers, but viruses are so tiny we have to switch to nanometers. But here's the most important part. A bacterium can reproduce all on its own. A virus? Nope. It has to have a host cell to make copies. And that one little fact changes everything.
So if a virus can't survive on its own, how does it get by? Well, it's basically evolved to become the ultimate freeloader. It's a master of invasion. Its entire existence is built around hijacking other living things.
Scientists have this perfect term for it, obligatory intracellular parasite. Sounds complicated, right? But let's just break it down. Obligatory just means it's mandatory, there's no other choice. And intracellular simply means inside a cell. So a virus is a parasite that absolutely must get inside another cell to do anything at all.
And here's a cool little piece of trivia for you. The name itself gives you a pretty big clue about its whole deal. The word virus comes straight from the Latin word for poison. Kind of fitting, huh? Think of it like this. A virus is like a tiny set of blueprints with no factory to build anything. So it finds a living cell, which is a fully equipped factory, and it injects its own blueprints. It forces that cell to stop whatever it was doing and start mass-producing new viruses instead. Total takeover.
But this is where the story gets really interesting. We usually think about viruses infecting us or animals or plants. But some viruses have a very, very specific target. They hunt bacteria. These are called bacteriophages.
I mean, that raises a pretty wild question, doesn't it? We have a microscopic thing that hunts another microscopic thing. What on earth could that possibly look like?
The reality is stranger than anything you could make up. Scientists who study them say they look like a small robot or maybe some kind of alien insect. And that's not just them being creative. Their structure is so weirdly mechanical and precise.
And their attack plan is like this four-step marvel of tiny engineering. First, landing. The phage uses these leg-like fibers to lock on to the outside of the bacterium. Next, injection. It's like a tiny syringe. It pierces the surface and shoots its DNA inside. Then comes the hijack, where it turns the poor bacterium into a zombie factory that just builds new viruses. And finally, the grand finale, eruption. The host cell literally bursts open, releasing hundreds of new phages to go continue the hunt.
Now, you might be sitting there thinking, this sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. How could we possibly see any of this happening? Well, the answer is in some seriously powerful technology that lets us witness this invisible war. What you're looking at here is an image from an electron microscope, a tool so powerful it can see things way too small for a normal light microscope. But the image it captures is always in black and white, so what scientists do is digitally add color. This helps highlight all the different parts of the virus and its target, making the details way clearer for us to see and understand. It's pretty much a perfect blend of science and art. And all of this brings us to one last, really big question. We've seen how these bacteriophages are natural-born bacteria killers. So, if they can hunt and destroy bacteria,
Could we one day use these tiny robots as allies in our own fight against bad bacterial infections? The invisible battle might just hold the key to a whole new kind of medicine.